Hi everyone, this is Charles and Civil, and we're here talking once again about the 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman.
Now I know what some of you all are saying. You all must have been reading that book backwards because it's been a while since you all have made a video, and you're exactly correct. So we're correcting that, and we apologize for the lengthy delay.
It was quite lengthy.
Yeah, it was a little while. But we wanted to come back ready. So we're ready to continue. And as I said, we're going to be talking about the 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. Even though it's kind of pinkish looking and girly looking, it's a good book. You should get it.
That's true.
Don't give any blenders. Cut the blenders out.
No more blenders, no more towels, no more toasters. Give books.
That's right. Blenders don't get you married. That might be dangerous to you. A spouse with a deadly blender.
Well, the last time we were with you, we actually were talking about the words of affirmation. And today we're going to begin talking about quality time, which is love language number 2.
Love language number 2, quality time. And let me say this up front. I had no idea what those 2 words together meant.
True.
At all. I'd never put them together before.
True. Okay.
You know, quality and time were things to do separately, not together.
Have a little quality and then have a little time on the side.
Yeah, yeah. Time for quality, not quality time.
Yeah.
And so when I met this little woman over here, and she began to say, "You don't spend enough time with me. I only see you once a week. When are you going to spend more time with me?" I'm like, "Well, you see me now. I'll be back later."
And my response was, that's not enough. We have to spend more time together so we could build a relationship. And he agreed, I don't know how reluctantly or joyfully, but he agreed, and we began to spend time together. And I think that both of us found out that quality time was one of our love languages.
Well, I found out that quality time was her love language. It wasn't necessarily mine because it never meant that much to me. And you know, once you move into a relationship, you really approach the relationship from your standpoint because you're looking at the relationship through your eyes. You're not really looking at that relationship through your spouse's eyes. You're feeling that relationship through your emotions. And you have a tendency to then superimpose what you see and what you feel as being correct on your spouse. And then all of a sudden, when they're not agreeing, something about them must be wrong.
You start tingling.
Detingling.
But you know, I did realize that once we did start spending more and more time together, the relationship got a little bit stronger, especially for me. But quality time, as far as this book is concerned, is not just being in the same room with the person, but actually giving that person your undivided attention to the point where, you know, for 20 minutes, you're sitting there and you're just talking to each other, gazing lovingly into each other's eyes.
I see you.
And having a conversation, and not necessarily a deep spirit-filled conversation, but just a conversation where you're looking at each other and everything is, and you're connecting with each other and you're paying attention and all those types of things.
Mentally, I know you're there. Physically, I can see you. But you know, there's nothing worse than talking to somebody who's mentally absent. And sometimes for men, that can happen. You know, we don't understand why you're talking to us in the first place. But we figured out that if I don't at least look at you, it's not going to be good the rest of the day. But we're not mentally involved, and so even though we're sitting there looking at you and we're physically present, and in our minds, we may think, look, I'm giving you what you've asked for, the feeling never comes across. We never get that feeling across to our wives that we were mentally engaged in her need for quality time. And one of the things he says here, he says that dating couples look at each other and talk. We're talking about when couples go to eat. He said you can tell a couple that's dating next time you go out and eat. Dating couples look at each other. You're so wonderful.
You're awesome.
You have 2 eyes. You know, everything is great. Oh my God, I've never seen anybody chew a grape like that. That's amazing. You're wonderful. And then he says, married couples sit there and gaze around the restaurant.
like they're not even there together. Like,
and that is really true.
Yeah. I think he said in there, like they actually went there to eat.
Yeah, like they actually went there to eat. What are you here for? To eat.
To eat, yeah.
Are you here to enjoy each other's company?
No.
No.
I was hungry, she was hungry, we're eating.
Yeah, and I had the checkbook, so I had to pay. So that's why she went with me.
That is so funny. And once we read this, I do remember us doing that a couple of times. We're just sitting around looking at everybody. Okay, they must be married. Okay, they're dating.
They're dating.
And you can really see a difference.
And it's amazing. And you know, when you begin to look at time, one of the things that he brings out is to give someone true time is to give them life. Because you think about it, God has given us time, and with the time that he has freely given, we have to make time with it. You know, it's almost like you have been given the ingredients to make bread. I've given you wheat, or I've given you flour and milk, and I've given you everything that you need, but you've got to make an effort and spend the effort to actually make the bread. And the time that God has given us, we have to make the time, understanding that it is truly the only resource that we have that you cannot replace. You have a finite number of seconds or moments in your life. You don't have an infinite number of seconds and moments in your life. So that means that every moment that you spend here is precious because you can never get that moment back. So to say that I truly give you my undivided attention and I truly give you my time, I'm really giving you a part of my life because I can't get that back. I could potentially be doing something else. And that helped me have a greater appreciation for what it meant as a gift to give time.
And it's so important to realize that as we're going through this book, no one of these love languages can cure everything that's going on in your relationship. These are just merely things that you can look for and begin to put in place. But quality time could be a very useful tool in your relationship, no matter where you are.
That's right. Now I'm gonna say it a different way. Some of y'all broke. You know, and the only way that broke things get fixed is somebody decides, first of all, to say it's broke, and then somebody decides to do whatever it takes to fix it. No matter or irregardless what the pain or what the discomfort or what the challenge or how interestingly it might feel to do that, you're going to have to make a decision to do whatever it takes to bring back the unity in that relationship. Whether it makes you feel good, you feel comfortable doing it, it's okay with you. Because I can tell you this, if the change that you're making is comfortable, you haven't made a change. Because a true change will make you feel like something's crawling on you.
A bit uncomfortable.
It will be uncomfortable. That's all I got to say about that.
All right, Forrest Gump. But you know, in the previous love language, it was talking about words of affirmation. And so what Dr. Chapman did is the thing that a lot of us find ourselves doing. If that's my love language, then it must work for you. And so this particular husband was going around giving the wife words of affirmation, and she was just steady having that empty love tank. And the husband couldn't figure out what was going on. And so we have to realize that if words of affirmation is your love language, your spouse's love language could be something totally different. Until we begin to speak the spouse's love language, then we won't see the change that we're all hoping for in our relationship.
Oh, absolutely. It's like going to the gas station. I've got a gas burner, and she burns diesel. If I put gas in that diesel engine, it may not run correctly, even if it may limp along, but it's probably going to have some challenges. If she puts diesel in my gas burner, in my gasoline engine, then I'm either going to break down or I'm not going to run efficiently. When I learn to give her what she needs, then all of a sudden she's going to be more efficient in our relationship. When she learns to give me what I need, then I become more efficient in our relationship. But that takes a sacrifice, not for the person receiving, it actually takes a sacrifice for the person giving. Because if it's my thing, it's easy to receive.
Right.
And with the example that Sybil was giving there, the husband started getting the words of affirmation, and I mean, he was feeling real good. And so like you said, he tried to give it back to her. He said, Dr. Chapman, she just doesn't look happy.
At all. But Charles mentioned something that it's something that we give. And this whole notion of quality time or even words of affirmation, it takes time. And you're just going to have to make the time. You're just going to have to make the time to do the things that need to be done in order to secure your relationship.
Absolutely. You know what? We make time for our jobs. And a lot of times, depending on who it is,